In addition, the PDA has trained nearly 3,000 people from 50 countries in HIV prevention and family planning. What are some of these countries and what are the results?
Well, we've been doing it in income generating activities as well, family planning, how to do a program combined with community development and HIV/AIDS. And every Asian country, I don't have to name any country, every Asian country has come. And others have come to join us, even some from America, some from England, South America and Africa. About 50 countries have come to see, and we say that this is what we do. Pick up what you like about it and put it into your country. Don't do exactly what we do. There's only one thing you should do what we do, that is work hard. But you have your own culture, your own traditions, blend it in, but push the envelope. Don't just sit there and say we can't do it. Some people say let's do it. Some people say, why do it? And some are worse, saying, can't do it. So we say that no is a question, not no is an answer. So we needed to succeed. So it was getting people to understand that doctors were very few and far between. We need ordinary people. And a person needing family planning is not a sick person. He's very healthy. That's why they're having sex. So we need ordinary people to help explain. So yes, it was unconventional, but then it was picked up as a policy by World Health Organization and many others.
You have a strong sense on how to turn your vision into strategies, and one example is microcredit loan and positive partnership. Please explain.
Well, the positive partnership is a program whereby we lend money to people living with HIV who must find for herself or himself a business partner who's not infected. So one is infected, one is not. The reason we're doing it is because for many, many years in many countries, including Thailand, there has been misunderstanding of HIV/AIDS, people living with HIV/AIDS, and therefore there's discrimination against them. And we wanted to make sure this disappeared. So one was to make them understand that you don't get AIDS from casual contact. And you can befriend, you can live with a person, work with a person who's living with HIV perfectly well. And that program got a person living with HIV and non-HIV working together, and they made good income, they were able to repay their loans. But most importantly, the person living without HIV had the role of explaining in the community that you can live, and people with HIV can work with you, live with you without any problem. So that's the first one. So it was, in a sense, a sort of using economic empowerment as a means to reduce stigma and discrimination. And it succeeded very well. And UNAIDS, again, used it as a best practice. The repayment after 3 years is about 91% on time. So they're very, very successful, and they now have a better life. People understand them in the villages. All sorts of activities, income from fruit selling to food to selling clothes, ice cream, you name it. Everything you can imagine that you see at the market, they're doing. Probably the newest one is coffee and condom. They sell coffee and they also sell condoms at the same time. Now that is a positive partnership. But we started off our microcredit loan back 35 years ago with what we call non-pregnancy agricultural credit. We had very little money, so only those who were not pregnant could borrow the money. So that was how it began, but it expanded into anyone who'd borrow. The reason was very clear. If people are poor, they'll never get out of poverty unless they do two things. One is that they get business skills, and two, they're able to borrow money at a regular rate. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Poor people in Thailand have no collateral, therefore they have to pay at least 120% interest rate and up to 240%. The highest is in Bangkok, just behind the stock exchange in Kong Tue, 6% per day. Now the poor don't have collateral, so you can't borrow. So if you want to help the poor, you have to say that for those living in poverty, access to credit must be a human right. So that's our microcredit program, and you don't have to have land, motorcycle, or golden earrings to use as collateral. You are a human being. That's good enough for us. You've got to write out a project, and we work with you on it. But we will lend you the equivalent of 90 days minimum wage. Let's say it's 200 baht. Then we'll multiply that by 90 days or 3 months. That's 18,000 baht. We'll lend you that to do business, and you repay plus interest 12% for the year. But let's say you can't repay the last 2,000. then you can use labor. You can bring yourself plus 9 friends, and that's equivalent of, in one day, 2,000 baht. You can work it off by tree planting or painting the government building or whatever it is. Then you pay it off that way. And so that the only road out of poverty is through business. Poor people are in fact engaged in business, but they don't succeed because they lack business skills and they lack credit. So that was our approach to getting it in and linking it through art, and a lot of it doing it with women, grandparents with grandchildren, also, and a handicapped person with a non-handicapped person. So positive partnership has gone beyond HIV. It's gone into the partnership that helps each other.
All right. Coming back to Pattaya City, being a popular tourist resort with its renowned nightlife, what concerns do you have about the city and what's being done either by the government sector or the private sector?
Well, always not enough is being done. I mean, there's no place in the world where the government does enough. So that's a very clear statement. But I think they are interested, the management of Pattaya, government of Pattaya, are definitely interested, and they've cooperated to get information out. We want to get information out to people, the girls and the boys who work in the bars. We cannot change their lifestyle yet, because we weren't around when they had a tough time. So let's respect them, let's make no moral judgment and save their lives. So we have been trying hard and working with several more, and now I chair a government committee to push this throughout the country in terms of public education, to provide information and make sure there are condoms everywhere. And we have to come down to youth, not just adults alone. And basically it's very simple. We've got to start young. And we have to say that all life forms on earth, human beings, animals, bacteria, are interested in sex by nature. It's not by choice. It's not voluntary. It's not like politics. It's in us. And therefore we've got to understand it well and master it, rather than let it enslave us. So master it, and then we can decide which is the right time, the right person. And there are good consequences and there are bad consequences. So select the good consequences. So basically know about it and don't rush into it. It's not going to go away. It's going to stay with you for a long, long time. So stay away from sex to as much as you can. And then finally, when you're going to have it, whether it's the right time or maybe a little bit prematurely early, then use condoms. So it's got to be straightforward, and parents have to understand their children are interested in sex, not because they're naughty, but because they're human beings.
Right.